You want to go? Out?
Can you hear me?
The great Blackjack Bobby G. What's going on, my guy? The one and only, often imitated, never duplicated.
What is
I
going
gotta
on?
find a quiet place, though, Blackjack.
We have time yet. I just got you on early so I can make sure I can hear you.
This is gonna be. I'm in that little lounge part.
How's the crowd today so far? What's that? How's the crowd so far?
I'm gonna have to mute first.
Hey, folks, if you're watching, if you're joining us, we're live now, but we're waiting for a few of our show participants to join us. Hey, and joining us now.
I don't know if you guys can hear me because I have
live
no
now,
idea
Glenn.
how this
You are
technology
live.
works.
You're live.
But if you are listening, I am the Stack Monster. You are not.
In fact, I even got right up there, I got Coach Stack Monster somewhere up there, Junior Stack Monster. I can't seem to harness this camera. Oh, well, anyway. I can't hear a word because it's loud here at the
Jack
Prudential Center.
Monster.
Oh, we have a
What's going on?
distinguished guest here.
How are we going to do this?
I
We
have
got to
no.
find in a quiet area.
Where's my camera? Oh, there. I got Nick from the Prudential Center tonight. I don't know where the camera is
The
on
great
this thing.
Joe Morales.
Yes,
What's going
so
on?
sorry about that,
Even though it's
officer.
on and I love this
Or you're not an
guy.
officer, but
NIL is
there's more.
important.
This is important.
NIL,
All right. So anyway, we got a sparse crowd here, to say the least. But you know what? I'm here. Isn't that enough? Probably not for all our loyal fans out there. In fact, me being here is probably too much. But it's a little chilly here. Good thing I'm layered. Got to have layers on a cold night. But hopefully it'll fill in. There was the joint was jumping over on Edison Place, the Reds Beer Garden and American Whiskey. So I mean, there's people here. Maybe they're warming up
Mr.
for the
Rutgers.
game.
What's
I just
going
hope
on?
the
How you
team
doing?
comes
Merry
out
Christmas.
warmed up
Merry
today.
Christmas.
That would be really good. Now I'm waiting. I don't see a lot of parents or families here right now. So I don't know. Maybe if I adopted a couple of players, all right, and then I could be considered family, right? So we could say families here. Where is the camera on this thing? So anyway, Bobby, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm in the
You're
show,
good.
I guess. If this is what you call a show, Bobby, we might need to aim higher than having me here, but I'm happy to be live from the Prudential Center. I probably should have had an
Glenn,
extra layer on. We have
can you hear
a
us?
crowbar. We have a crowbar in the house. So what do you think that crowbar was used for? Oh, okay. There was a crowbar from the changeover. I guess, was there a hockey game today? Anyway, I kept tripping over the crowbar, and a fine young gentleman who works here at Prudential Center, the Seton Hall pullover, whatever on, he removed the crowbar. So you can see there is no more crowbar in the row. Lucky for the person sitting in section 12, row 2, seat 12, it looks like. So we now have a safe venue for the game. The players are out there. The players, they're warming up. They're doing their stretches. As a physical therapist, that just warms my heart that the players are warming up before the game.
Let's go find a quiet spot.
Okay, Nick and I are going to go find a quiet spot. Nick's
All
even
right, as
got,
we do that, we're going to bring on
even got paperwork in his left arm. What could that paperwork be? Has Nick prepared? The great Nick Romano? So people don't, a lot of you people think Stack Monster's been around a long time. Well, in terms of years, I have been around a long time. But in terms of Seton Hall fandom, I only got my first season tickets back in 2016 when my son was a freshman. But immediately, my son was in the Bluebeard Army and on the administrative side of the Bluebeard Army. So he sat for 4 years. He sat down their baseline talking trash to the opposing team end of their bench anyway. And a couple of those games, there was a few kids he played AAU ball growing up who were walk-ons on the particular teams. And there was one on Rutgers and another player that was walk-on Villanova. Right, okay. So if I look lost, it's because I can't find Nick. He was looking for a quiet spot. I have no idea if any of this is going out live to our adoring fans out there.
All right, Glenn, give us 1 second. I'm going to bring Paul on to discuss the pregame analysis. Hey, Paul, how are you today?
Oh, how you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing pretty good. So, what? Give us your thoughts and your analysis on our game tonight versus Georgetown.
So, Georgetown, the days of Georgetown being in the cellar look like they're over. Patrick Ewing is gone. Ed Cooley is there. Ed Cooley had a great deal of success at Providence. I think that when you look at Georgetown and you look at their guard play, Jaden Epps from last season, one of their best scorers, and he's going to be a key factor, a key guy that has to get stopped tonight. And Mika Peavy, I don't know how many people saw the Creighton game, but he just stepped into the point guard role, largely because Malik Mack was injured, and Malik Mack is a game time decision for Georgetown today. Peavy went out, scored 20 points, got 8 rebounds, 8 assists. A couple of more plays, he could have had a quadruple double. But the guy that I'm most afraid of is Thomas Sorber. They're inside, their power forward. He's got a great set of moves. He can put the ball on the floor. He passes well. He's been in foul trouble in a bunch of games, and he might be possible that we can get him into foul trouble. But at the same, and he's not a good 3-point shooter. As a matter of fact, none of Georgetown is a good 3-point shooting team. So what I'd like to see from our team, first of all, is to try to slow down Georgetown's break. Epps and Peavy are in the open floor, so we need to slow them down. On the other hand, we've got to get some easy baskets in transition. Our half court offense is going to struggle against a guy like Sorber, who can really match up against our big guys, and he probably can get us into foul trouble. So I'm looking for our ability, if we can get back and play defense, and if we can slow down their break, and if we can get some shots, our own quick shots and some easy points, we have a shot against this team. So that's my analysis, Bobby.
All right, very good, Paul. Great job there on the analysis. We're bringing Nick on as well. Hello, Nick. How are you?
Hey, the great blackjack Bobby G, often imitated, never duplicated, the king of podcasts, the #1 social media guy in Seton Hall. A pleasure. I'm here in what used to be the Ice Lounge, and there's Glenn in the bowels of the Prue Center. Yeah, I think he made some really good points, but the one thing I think he touched on is that they're not a very good 3-point shooting team, and I think we can go small and go zone because Sorber is a matchup problem. And Peavy, they do a lot of isolation for Peavy. So if we play a 2-3 zone and maybe trap a little bit and try to score points in transition, that might be the way to go. I'm looking for a big game from Isaiah Coleman tonight. Isaiah Coleman has the potential to be one of the best players in the Big East. And I think, that's his progress. And he just needs to take it to the next level.
Hey, guys, I'm thinking to myself, how many years now has it been where we were going to a game against Georgetown or DePaul, right? And we were they were the bottom feeders, right?
I mean, we've beaten Georgetown 7 straight games. At home, we lead the series. They lead the overall series 61-59, but on our home court, we're up 34-23. So, I mean, I think we're going to beat them tonight. I just think we're due. We haven't clicked, and I think this game we're going to come out and click. Does anyone know if Mac's playing tonight?
Again, I haven't
transfer?
Paul?
Yeah, I hadn't heard. I think, Nick, we talked about this before the show. I haven't heard any change whether he's going to be in the lineup or not. I guess we'll find out when he takes the floor.
I was just down at the scoring table, and I was talking to Duffy, who's doing the one of the analysis there on the court. He's doing social media, and he wasn't sure. So, maybe we'll get it. But that's key because, with Mac and Epps and Peavy, I mean, they have some good players. They have some really good players. And the freshman Sorber, like you said, he possibly could give us matchup fits because I don't know who we're going to put on him. So that's why I think we should play zone.
And, Bobby, you make a great point. We don't really know yet who the good teams are in the league. We got told it was UConn. We got told it was Marquette. UConn went out to Maui and sort of proved us wrong. Georgetown might not be a bottom feeder this year. We don't know because we haven't seen them play yet.
I mean, they don't look like a bottom feeder at all. I mean, I don't know about, who's going to come out what, but I'm just going by performance. And Georgetown right now is playing really good basketball. I mean, they won their home opener for the first time in years, and they, blew out Creighton 81-57. And Creighton's not a bad squad. So, I mean, but I think we're going to be okay. But Georgetown's a very good team.
Yeah, my only hope, fellas, is that this our maybe a little swoon last a year or two. Like I was mentioning, like Georgetown and DePaul have been bottom feeders for quite a while now. Hopefully, our Pirates, this is only temporary. There's a little bump in the road until we figure out this NIL stuff and we get the proper people in place all throughout the organization itself. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think the whole thing with the NIL is you never know what's going to happen, but you do have the ability to take it to the next level, with the right roster construction and you need those NIL dollars. But all you really need to look at St. John's with the vitamin water guy and look at Brigham Young. All you really need is one super rich guy to who can't own an NBA team, but he wants to help on the college game, and then boom, you got it. I don't know who that guy is for Seton Hall, but you could not be that far away. And I think, like Jay Billis said, that kind of levels the playing field from all those teams, that were the elites. Things are going to be different. I mean, Brigham Young got the number one recruit in the nation going there next year. When would that ever happen?
Yeah, I was reading this article yesterday on CBS Sports about college sports in particular, and it seems like almost every program, whether you're college football or college basketball, you have to go out and hire a GM now.
Yeah,
now, here's a fun question for you guys. You guys, we're all, Seton Hall lifers, big fans. Who would you see from Seton Hall's maybe immediate past to come in and be a GM for our program, for the men's team? Any thoughts about that?
I agree that we need a GM. I mean, I know Nova went out and got a GM, and I know Duke went out and got a GM. And I mean, I agree with you, Bobby. That is absolutely the future. I mean, Shaw's a good coach. He's not Brian Cashman, right? So you need to find, someone with that analytical ability. And it might not necessarily be someone who comes from the basketball program, but it could be someone, who knows sabermetrics, or someone like that who has a keen eye for scouting. I don't know who that person is, but we definitely need that person.
Off the top of my head, and Paul, I'll go to you next, Paul. Off the top of my head, I can see like a Michael Enzi or an Ike. These guys who played for us recently, who are super smart and now on Wall Street. Maybe they can learn some more on the sports side of the business and become our GM one day. They have the smarts for it. They played for the program, and they know the Big East up and down. So there are two thoughts on my end. Paul, what are your thoughts?
So I don't have a name, but what I would think of is this is essentially a fundraising job at this point. People like Coach Holloway, and he can hire a director of basketball operations to pick players, right? Right now, what the job is to get money and to make sure that it goes to the right places. And there's going to need to be contracts and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's also going to need to be an alumni fundraising effort that's going to have to be a lot bigger than what we've been doing so far. And there are people who are in the fundraising business. You might be looking at somebody who's running a foundation or a charity. That might be somebody who they need to bring in and use those same techniques to focus on Seton Hall basketball. But Bobby, you mentioned, Villanova hired a new athletic director from the University of Oregon, which is the University of Nike, right? I mean, Phil Knight and those guys have a ton of money, and I'm sure they brought this guy in because he knows how to deal with money at a school like Villanova that doesn't have football. And, we're going to see how Neptune does, what direction he's taking the program.
Excellent point. All right, let's now go to our man in the stands, the great Glenn Stackmonster. Glenn, you're now up.
Oh, I have the floor. Well, actually, I'm sitting here by Nick in a quiet location, but in a short amount of time, I'll be heading down Section 10 all the way down back where I found the crowbar. I don't know if you guys saw my crowbar story earlier in the store, in the live feed podcast, whatever you call this stuff. I'm too old for technology. But anyway, we're going to head back down, and we're going to tap up the players as they come out, as I try to figure out where the camera angle is on this phone during the live broadcast.
You're right in the middle. You're fine right now. You're actually perfectly, you, Nick, and Paul, you guys are perfectly in the center. I'm not. I'm trying to avoid a couple things here, but you guys are right in the center, so you guys are perfect. Hey,
So tonight, he doesn't want to be on camera, but I got Coach Stack Monster Jr. here with me. He fresh off a tough loss to Jefferson yesterday. But hey, it's about development. And speaking of development, let's get these guys developed. Let's get them playing at their top level. Let's get them doing what they know they can do. Make them remember. Make them remember what it was that got them here in the first place. Why were they four-star recruits? Just remember, guys. That's all they got to do. Stack Monster Jr. mentioned that we could develop the point guard situation. I have to tend to family business now. They don't take cash, Stack Monster Jr. You got to use your phone. The new technology would think a 27-year-old would have it down. So, no, I know. I'm not trying to.
All right, guys. Great job, Glenn, from the there. Hey, Nick, I know you're there as well. I would expect a small crowd tonight. Am I right with that?
Oh yeah. I'm going to take you down there right now. Follow me.
Bobby, I was
We're heading
at
down.
American Whiskey before the game for an alumni thing, and it may be a small crowd, but it's going to be a very enthusiastic, a very positive crowd. I was out on the floor a little while ago, and you know they're coming in slowly. But if you looked at the Georgetown Creighton game, and I know you guys watched it, there weren't a lot of people at that game at all. And there's going to be more people at our game tonight. And Bobby, you had mentioned Mike Enzi, and you know, in retrospect, that's a great choice. I know Michael very well. He studied for the Serious Sevens actually in my basement, believe it or not. And yeah, Michael is very bright. He would be good. He would be very good. I don't know what he's making on Wall Street if he would do it, but yeah, he'd be excellent. That's a great job.
Speaking of great job,
So we're almost into the bowl of the arena here. There's a line building at the snack stand in case anybody's interested, in case you're hungry out there in virtual land. And let's take a look at the what's going on over here. All right, people are starting to get to their seats. You guys ready? You ready? All right, let's see some enthusiasm. We need it. All right. Say hi to our workers out there. Are you ready? You ready for a good game today? All right. All right, so here's a look at the crowd. Please do the honors. All right, we got we got to head down. Stack Monster's not in position.
Don't fall.
I hope he's not drinking.
What is going on here?
Guys, I was going to say, not a great job by the Big East to schedule this game 7 p.m. on the Sunday before Christmas. I was on campus yesterday for the women's game. Campus is closed already. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine, you know, I think I saw a promotion for the basketball program. If you were a alum of the Seton Pirates, like I was, a lot of us were, you can go sit in the children's section. You can sit in the student section today if you're an alum of the program. So that just shows to me what bad idea for the Big East to have this game 7:00 at night on a Sunday. Holiday season, Christmas coming up. It's frigid out there. This should have been a 12:00 game.
We used to not start the Big East, Bobby, and you know this, until around. I mean, I remember opening the Big East schedule against St. John on New Year's Eve. But now when UConn came aboard, you got 2 extra games, so it's hard. I mean, Georgetown actually is going to play a non-conference game after this game because you're starting so early. But the Big Ten already started. It's just, I agree with you, but it's the way college basketball is right now.
So we're down here. We got the mascots right over here. His bone muscles are covered by a blue Santa suit. Everybody say hi to the pirate. Mr. Parati, how you doing? Did Santa get you what you want for Christmas? He wants a victory over Georgetown.
No.
You heard it here first, live on. Wait, this is not recorded. This is actually live media. It's not that live recorded stuff that I always dish out. And we got 7 minutes to game time, so the players ought to be coming down. We got some loyal fans here. Are you ready, buddy? Are you ready? Give me a high five. Give me a low five. How about the pirate? Let's go, baby!
All right, guys, let's call it a broadcast.
All
Have you guys?
We
I
got to
know Nick
get
has to
people
get to his
hyped up.
feet.
I know people are a little down out there. You know, it's been a tough start to the season. I got my first season tickets, if you didn't hear me earlier in the broadcast, in 2016 when Junior was a freshman. And, well, I've been coming ever since. But when it comes to Seton Hall history, I had to rely on Nick from Millburn because Nick's my guy. He's the one who sets me straight on the history, the esteemed storied history of the Seton Hall Pirates. We got the parents are starting to show up. We got some family members here. And say hi, everybody. Say hi. Yeah, there we go. They have no idea who I am and who we are, but that's okay. Sometimes when I get home at the end of the day, my wife goes, "Who are you?" Anyway, so who's gonna have a big? I got a big fan here. So who do you think's gonna be the key to this game tonight? Isaiah Coleman. We have an Isaiah Coleman fan and 56. Can you tell us a little bit about that jersey you got on? What about that jersey? Is that a player that you like? Number 56, Lawrence Taylor. Oh, wait, wrong sport. Anyway. Oh, here they come. The players are coming down the tunnel. There we go. We're going to dap them up. We're going to dap them up. Just be careful for the flags. Flags, very dangerous. Not quite as dangerous as crowbars, but dangerous. Here they come. They're coming. All right. It starts tonight. It starts tonight. Let's go. Done.
Now, Nick, did you get a chance to look at some of the other Big East scores from yesterday?
Scotty, your day. The great Scotty Middleton. Oh, wait, I missed one. Okay. Where are the coaches? That's what the world wants to know. Where are the coaches? We have a man with a media credential. Oh, how famous. Oh, here we go. Go away. Let's go. Come on, Dylan. Still no coaches. Oh, my God. I hope I don't have to step out there and coach the team. I need some help with X's and O's. Okay, well, anyway, I think that's pretty good for now. I'm going to get out of here and go up and watch the game. Plus, my son's with me, and he's hungry, and, of course, I got to pay. So this is Stack Monster over and out.
I mean, the only X's and O that Glenn knows is tic tac toe. But I'm sure it'll be fine. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank, speaking of coaches, the great coach Tom Eccles for allowing us to do this, and his counterpart, the great Nicole Elise Gizzi, for letting this go. So Paul, what do you think tonight? What do you think's going to happen? What's going to be the outcome?
I think that we're going to score 72 points. I think if 72 points is enough to win the game based on our defense, we'll get out of here and a win. I'm looking for a 72-65 kind of game with Sorber on the bench with fouls starting about halfway through the first half. That's my prediction.
So with those 72 points, who's going to be our leading scorer? Do you think Coleman? Do you think a lot of those points?
I think it's got to be Coleman. And I think that if we're going to get Sorber into foul trouble, either Okafor or the other big man, whose name is I'm lost to, is going to play a big role for us tonight. And,
I agree that the key, if we could get Sorber on the bench, that would change the whole complexity of the game. I think we need to score in transition, like you alluded to earlier. And again, I think Isaiah has to step up and, play a really big game. I think Tome off the bench is a wild card. I've liked his game so far, some offense, but he's a little bit inconsistent on the offensive end. And I think what he needs to do is just stay out of foul trouble. Because I think a couple games he's been handicapped, with some early fouls. I think he's adjusting to the physical Big East style play and, what he can get away with and what he can't.
Fair enough. Hey, listen, they're telling us to wrap this up. I don't know how to turn it off, but one last thought before we go. Marquette beat Xavier by a basket in Cincinnati today. UConn won by 4 in Hinkle against Butler, which is interesting. And Creighton bounced back to beat Villanova with Villanova going on the road. So, as I said before, I still don't think we know who's really good and who isn't good. Hopefully, we're going to find that out in a couple of weeks.
One of my favorite movies is On Any Given Sunday. And this is a Sunday, and I think in the Big East on any given day, anything could happen. I think we're going to win, and I'm going to call it 72-70 Seton Hall. Everybody,
Bobby.
thank you for tuning. Thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you to the coach, Tom Eccles, for allowing us to do this. Nicole, Elise, Gizzy, you guys are awesome. We're out. Thank you, guys, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yes, that's right. Go Pirates.
Go Pirates.